I bet you never thought that you'd see Bruce Lee, James Bond, the Man with No Name, Popeye, Kane from Kung Fu, and even Dracula in the same movie. But this is one such movie, and certainly one of the more hallucinogenic Kung Fu movies of the 1970s. The premise of this curiosity follows Bruce Lee's untimely death and sees the little dragon thrust into the underworld, where he meets the king of the underworld and his loyal subjects. And the rest of the plot's fairly convoluted, to say the least, but it does involve encounters with a James Bond character, a Clint Eastwood character, a Dracula character, Popeye, Emmanuelle, and an assortment of other pop culture characters with various agendas. It's all very Game of Thrones without any of the production values, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So it may all sound a bit litigious, but if you're already ripping off the Bruce Lee estate, then you might as well push the envelope, swing for the boundaries, and steal a whole bunch of other intellectual properties while you're at it. So if Hollywood producers were doing a heap of coke while making movies like Showgirls, I reckon the producers of The Dragon Lives Again were definitely doing a shit ton of opium while making this movie. Bruce Leung, that's Leung, not Bruce Lee, plays Bruce Lee, and appropriately it looks nothing like the little dragon. But that didn't stop him from racking up scores of leading roles in kung fu movies in the mid-70s to the early 80s. And this movie has all of the tone and pacing of a bit of an Eastern carry-on movie. Carry-on kung fu, as it were. There's plenty of dick jokes and so on and so forth. And it also has a pinch of hallucinogenic LSD or DMT or one of those other three-letter abbreviations that podcaster Joe Rogan might partake in. And I reckon if you're only ever likely to watch one Leo-like or Bruceploitation movie, this should probably be the one. But why stop at one Bruceploitation movie when life's so short? So I reckon this would make a pretty good double bill with the clones of Bruce Lee. Or if you need to temper the whole hallucinogenic nature of The Dragon Lives Again, you could always temper the silliness with Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, which in its own way is just as silly as The Dragon Lives Again, just in a different kind of way. So what else do I say about this movie? Well, I guess I'd say walk, don't run, or run, don't walk to see it. Definitely run, don't walk. If you're after a bit of a bongmaster sort of a movie experience and that sort of thing is legal where you are, this might well and truly fit the bill for one of those lazy evenings on the couch. And I'd reckon there's not really a lot of social commentary in The Dragon Lives Again, aside from an anti-drug or sobriety message if you don't happen to enjoy it while under the influence of something. Or perhaps the opposite message if you are able to find any more meaning in The Dragon Lives Again than I did. Either way, my head sort of hurts a bit from too much thinking about The Dragon Lives Again, the one of the great mysteries of life. So that is The Dragon Lives Again. As I said, you might want to watch this and temper it with the clones of Bruce Lee, or if you're after something a little less silly to offset it, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, which is still quite silly on subsequent viewings, and definitely a lot more hilarious than when I first saw Dragon, the Bruce Lee story in theatres. But as I said, I love these Leah-like movies. Life's too short not to experience as many as you can, and arguably they're even more entertaining than in any of the legitimate Bruce Lee releases. And perhaps the acting in the Kung Fu isn't as adept, but as we all know, skilled Kung Fu and wonderful acting does not a great Kung Fu movie make. If you've seen any of these movies like I have. So definitely check out The Dragon Lives Again. I'll try and find a link to where you can view it in the description. And if you're enjoying this channel, enjoying this content, let me know how my YouTube driving is in the comments or by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. And I look forward to seeing you next time.